Sarah Jane, grab your cup, because it's that day again, because you're seeing us out of our studio, which is really nice, because now we're a pop-up podcast.
Pop-up!
A pop-up podcast. I know, it sounds like we've had a gin or two, doesn't
Yes,
it?
just a cup of coffee.
I know, just
the herb tea. If
I know, herb tea and coffee. Our town has plenty. So today we are so lucky. I'm just going to have a swig. We're so lucky to have Sarah Jane Morris. We're on the couch. It's a bit like, do you remember Paulie Yates? When she used to say, under the covers with, didn't she?
Yeah, I'm not going to try and seduce you.
Yeah. Oh, darling, oh, shame. Oh,
Not on camera.
I'm going home.
Not when I'm here.
That becomes really weird.
Yes.
So this has been a promise. Sarah said, oh yeah, I'll come on your podcast. I was delighted. I had a proper fangirl moment when you said.
Oh, well, I saw you doing your brilliant one with Mike Willis, and I thought, I think it was just so natural. I thought, that's so lovely. And then we
so
met.
kind. We did.
Met up at that gig that I did with Mike.
Yeah.
And we decided we'd do something.
And we've been bumping into each other all
Ever
over
since.
town ever since.
Redheads
It's
do
lovely.
that, don't they?
Yeah, it's a ginger thing.
Yeah.
It's a ginger thing. We're very proud, aren't we, to be gingers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ginger minge is the way forward.
And there's lots of jokes that can follow right the way down
Oh,
there.
they did all the way through my childhood, didn't
yes.
they? You? That was
Me
my
too.
nickname at school.
Yes.
Do you know, I managed to get Jenny Murray on Radio 4.
Oh, I love Jenny Murray.
Who was interviewing me because I was a redhead.
Woman's
Because
Hour.
she wanted to find, she was interviewing lots of redheads to ask them what was the most difficult thing about being a redhead. And I said to her, oh, well, it was my nickname at school. And so she said in her terribly serious way, and what was that? And I said, Ginger Minge. I wasn't invited on Woman's Hour for another 5 years.
I love it.
Because she said back to me, Ginger Minge. The fact that Jenny said it too, that was what did it.
That's it. So you were absolutely on
I was being
in
honest.
a pact with
Oh, yeah.
Jenny, which wouldn't have been hard, would it?
Would have
She
been.
said,
I did. Lovely voice on the
voice.
radio.
Lovely woman.
Yeah.
Gorgeous, gorgeous. But the producers would have been,
Yep. Cut. Yep. She's not coming on.
no. So we've got this wonderful time together, and we can play around because we've got 2 hours of parking. I know. We've got.
Let's show off about this.
Let's show off,
This
let's
is
play.
really rare in
It
this neighbourhood.
I know. In this wonderful neighbourhood in St Leonard's. So, so there's loads of questions I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
Why did you come here? What? Because you're not from here.
Yeah.
Let's start with that. Why did you grace us?
Why did I? Well, many years ago, my best friend Angie moved down with her husband Simon and their kids to Hastings, Old Town. So my first husband, there've only been 2, by the way.
Oh, I'm
because
on
that does sound like I'm going to be sort of talking about many
My
divorces.
current husband.
My current husband, yeah. The father of my child, we tried to move down. We couldn't. 2 musicians, who could get a mortgage?
Yeah, exactly.
So that didn't happen, but I kept coming down to visit her. Then she eventually moved to St Leonard's in this iconic house, the one where you walk down the steps if you're going down to the sea. And my son and I came to stay with her, and on the train back to London, we both said, didn't want to go, did you? And so we spoke to Angie, and Angie and I started, trying to find flats to rent. And she found me a place on the marina, and I moved down with Otis, and so I was 5 minutes from where she lived.
Yeah.
And we got a ground floor flat on the marina, and my rent was 1/3 of what I was paying in London. And suddenly I wasn't just earning to pay for the childcare when I was on stage. I actually could have a life.
Wow.
And I was living near my best friend.
Yeah.
I opened the shutters because I was in a ground floor flat and saw the sea. I didn't notice the road.
No.
You could make a cup of coffee and be on the beach drinking it within half a minute.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful, and everything changed.
Yeah.
These are my people down here.
Yeah. Aren't they?
Yeah.
We're an odd bunch here, aren't we?
Wonderful, creative, odd bunch.
Gorgeous,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Big heart.
Very much feel like it's the community I want to be part of.
Yeah. There's what I notice is there's a smile very close to every exchange that you have.
Yeah.
It's you can see people are really pleased to see you.
Yeah.
And I love that. It's
Yeah.
like on Saturday I didn't want to be seen. I was trying to get around and do things, and it's Pat. I'm like, I'm trying. Hi, and Rax sending me a message saying, "Where are you? Where are you?" I went, "I know. I'll be
But I
back."
haven't said hello to everybody yet.
But I know,
Yes.
but I haven't.
But you want to, and
You
you want
do.
to speak to everybody.
You
Yeah.
want to do the circuit, don't you?
Yeah.
So you love it here.
I love it here. So does my husband Mark. We really feel like
It's lovely.
that this is where we want. I mean, we're already old, but where we really want to grow old. We've got when we can't drive anymore. The end of the road, we have the co-op, we have Boots, we have a great greengrocers, we have a fishmonger, we have Wonderful, where you can where we top up with everything. You've got great cafes.
Yeah.
So even if we're on our Zimmer frames, we could
Yes.
still.
Yes.
We've got our own post office. We have the best postman in
Oh.
the world with Chris.
Chris.
We've got the Kino around the corner.
Yeah.
We've got Mike
Yeah.
Willis
Yeah.
again.
Lovely
Mike
neighbours.
Willis just down the road. And it's just what's not to like about it. So as long as we can afford to be here,
Yeah.
we'll be here.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that because it's a big love job here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what better than to have a nice postman? Because when you get really old, he'll just pick up your bits and bobs.
Yeah, and he's
Drop
younger
them
than
off.
us. He's
He's
younger than
younger.
us. So
We
he'll
can
still be
get some
doing it.
mileage out
Well,
of
yeah,
him.
yeah.
Hi, Chris. So what you've done is you've entered into the local environment,
Yeah.
and as a musician, what's that like as a musician?
Well, I mean, it took a while for me to find my feet here, because I remember this was a really interesting thing that Angie said to me when I moved down. She said, "You're given 6 months to name drop because everybody that
Yes.
moves down from London name drops
Yeah.
because we know we have to big ourselves up all the time to make it look like we're doing better than we are, especially in the creative arts."
Sure.
She said, "But after 6 months, you better stop it because everybody's actually doing what you're doing. They just don't need to tell you about it." And I thought that was great advice. Now, there are so many interesting people down here, but there's so many creatives and fantastic musicians and songwriters,
Yeah.
singers.
With stories.
Everyone's got a story. And what I love about it is that you can, I can do my concert at the Kino, but I'll also take part in many other concerts, never expecting to get money. You're doing it because it's in a community thing.
Yeah, sure.
And I love the fact that we're all kind of helping each other.
Yeah, they're super supportive, aren't they?
Very supportive. And very, very good.
Yeah.
We've
they
got
are.
a great music scene down here.
Yeah.
Young and old.
So, your story. Tell us. Can you tell us, or do you want to tell us anything? Because you and I have got Angie in common.
We've got Angie and
We
Colin,
have got
indeed.
Angie in common. We didn't realise this when we first started chatting.
Yes.
There was this moment, and you were talking. I thought, I know this woman, and you didn't name her. And then I said, "Is that woman Angie?" She went, "Oh,
Yeah.
I knew it was Angie. I
Yeah.
knew it was Angie."
What a special
Angie
woman.
the bee lady, as we always
Angie
used
the
to know
bee
her.
lady.
Yeah, she's lovely.
Oh,
What a lovely woman.
she was a fantastic woman, and
So you knew her in London?
we first met. She and I met at a very dodgy job. We'd both separately gone after this job. It was advertised in the Stage, and she was at art college, and I was just leaving drama college, and we'd both been waitresses. And it was a job supposedly in a drinking club or a gentleman's club in the city. We should have really thought about it, but we were young and naive and needing a job. And we both arrived for the interview at the same time with lots of my friends and lots of her friends. And it was basically one of those sort of restaurant come bars where you're expected to wear a school uniform. Yes, one of those where I would imagine the punters are putting, into the suspenders, putting their tip and all of that stuff. And I can remember looking around to say, "Oh my God, I know I can't do that job. but I know that I need the deposit on this flat that I've just taken on. What am I going to do? And it just so happened that both Angie and I, because we were very tall, the actual uniform, the skirt, we had to try on the skirt, was obscene on us. We just couldn't do it.
No.
So we never had to wear that uniform, and we both worked behind the bar.
Nice.
So we became, we kept the job protected.
Yeah.
And I used to sing My Old Man behind the bar and entertain these rather drunk men.
Yeah.
And not take it very seriously, because we were protected by the bar and by each other.
Yeah.
And she and I became firm friends due to this length in our bodies.
Yeah, I love that. It's like some sort of awfulness that you have to deal with, but you manage to give yourself some
I don't know
distance.
how long we did it, but it was probably just one summer.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, it was just one of the things that we did. But she was doing all of the political murals around Brixton. She was quite a gal.
Yeah.
And a huge part of the artistic community down here.
Sure.
So she died far too young.
She did.
My heart broke. I left St Leonard's and Hastings, even though I knew this was my place, because my heart was broken. So I
Well, it wasn't the same without Angie.
It wasn't the same without Angie. So I moved in with Mark, who I had met since moving down here. He lived near Canterbury, so I went and lived with him. And my son Otis went to school in Canterbury. And then I held my 60th birthday at the Kino Theatre. And at this point, Otis and his boyfriend Jasper had set up a fruit and veg shop in the old town.
I remember it.
Just near Judges.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I love my son, I'd like to be nearer him, and actually I do love St Leonard's and Hastings, and I do want to come back. So it was at that point in my 60th year that I thought, well, let's see what we can do. And so Mark was prepared to sell his house, and we were very fortunate. We found this place, which was built as a pub, but is perfect as our home. We share it with many. So much creativity has happened here, and right in the hub of it, and I'm home.
Yeah.
But obviously a hell of a lot happened in between.
I was going to say, because the story that is you've got fascinating story, haven't you? So like, I'm going to pretend I don't know anything about you. So what made you become a singer? What made you start singing?
What made me start singing? Well, I come from a big family, so I've got 6 brothers, and we've lived in many, many places, because we had the father that he sounded like the lord of a manor. He had that beautiful speaking voice. He had no money, but he sounded like he had money.
Yeah.
And he managed to, wherever we moved to, and we were always renting, by the way, he managed to, because it was in the 70s, it was the time of HP.
Yeah.
So he would walk into a furniture store sounding like he could buy it. They gave him all the furniture he wanted for the latest place we were living in.
Yeah.
Did he ever pay?
No.
No, never paid an instalment. So eventually everything would be taken, and we'd lose our home again.
Sure.
And that was regular.
Yeah.
That was sometimes twice a year.
That was very 70s behaviour, though.
Very 70s
The
behaviour.
moonlight flip was one of those things. I remember my granny used to flip all around everywhere. We'd wake up and it'd be, Granny's moved.
Yes.
She was an antique dealer in East London, and she used to move incredibly elegantly with a baby grand piano.
Wow. Did it in style.
She did it in style. But it was the time, wasn't it? And again, as you say, higher purchase, it meant you could get anything anywhere.
Yeah.
But
we were all often moving in the middle of the night to escape the official receivers, So in a way, now I look back, and at the time it was stressful. Forever starting a new school, not being able to keep those friendships going, not knowing where your new home was, not necessarily having a bedroom.
Roots.
I can remember one little house we moved to. There wasn't a bedroom for me, but there was a corridor, which the deal was, it was a corridor it must have been that wide. It wasn't wide enough for a bed. But once again, hire purchase divan, brand new modern divan, and I settled for just that divan if I could have, because it could have been as long as the divan. Bright yellow carpet I was allowed to have because it was such a small area. I mean, your clothes were just shoved under the bed. It wasn't really a bed.
No.
It was the days where I was much slimmer than I am now, I'd like to say.
Darling, we're older and wider.
Older and wide. I'd like to think wiser, but
No, we're older
wider
and wider.
is definitely
We're good. That's good. It's fine. It's only it's a typo. It's fine.
But that kind of childhood, as you can imagine, it prepared me for the life of the travelling musician.
Absolutely.
So I actually see it as a gift.
Yes.
I no longer see it with a chip on my shoulder, which I did have for a while.
Of course.
I can, wherever I go, I just take out my candle, because I like a sweet smelling room. And, if you've got your little boom box or something to play your music on, I'll turn whatever hotel room or whatever bed and breakfast or boarding house or new place I'm in, that becomes my home at the time.
Yeah.
Because I was a chambermaid for quite a few years, I'm one of those people that leaves my hotel bedroom looking as good as it was when I arrived. I take pride in that. Because I know I don't like to leave anything as if I'm a messy person for that person, knowing what it's like to pick up someone else's towels and things. But so when I had no musical education, by the way, because I went to so many different schools. Music was nearly always a choice between art and music, and art I was very good at.
Yeah.
Ceramics particularly, and I won the ceramics school prize. And I think it was presumed that I'd go on and be a potter, do something with ceramics. But halfway through my A-levels, Dad goes to prison. And it kind of changed everything. We lost our home, many children.
They caught him in the end.
They could no. Well, he didn't run away from prison. He went to prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I mean.
Oh, they caught up with him.
Yeah, caught up with him.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Life caught up with him. And interestingly enough, though, considering where we are, his cell number was 1066.
Stop it.
Yeah. Someone was having a joke. Weren't they?
Yeah. It's a map. It's a treasure map. With all the,
He's
all
definitely
the
up there giggling.
I bet he is.
So that was devastating.
Of course.
And I did have a mini breakdown, and I did leave school because I just thought everybody was judging me. Everyone was talking about me, and they probably were. They just didn't know how to deal with this family that was in need of help and support from a school, but didn't happen. And my mum had to go out. One of the. I mean, my brother was 14 years younger than me, so there was a 3-year-old. Mum had to suddenly go out and try and get a teaching job at night. And so I had to look after the baby. So, it changed. Everything changed. And she even, my mum, gosh, what a difficult time she had. On the paper or what letterheads that Dad would send out to do with his business, every one of us was listed as directors, underage directors of this company. And so this is a terribly difficult position for her to be in, she had to overnight find a solicitor that would make us wards of court. Wow. So that we weren't taken away by social services because we were all underage. And that's a very difficult thing for someone to have to do. So we were wards of court until we were 18, all of us. And I think it was maybe about 4 or 5 months into being at home, looking after the baby, not going back to school, I realised I needed to continue my education. So I went into the local college on the bus, intending to sign up for some kind of higher education course, not knowing what. And I was having panic attacks and, having had this breakdown, I just thought anybody that spoke to me, I would kind of come up in these huge sort of raised red patches and panic. Yeah. And I realised as I got there I wasn't ready to go into that hall to choose a subject. So I went round to the back doing my panic breathing. There was a guy there leaning against the wall. There were big open doors behind him, but it was all in the dark. He asked me what I was doing there. He was a guy, he was probably about 10 years younger than my dad. And I started to do the panicking, and he was very kind to me. And as he was being kind, he wanted to know what I was doing there, and I explained I must have told him my life story. Oh, and he was the perfect person to have told it to, because he said to me, this is the drama department behind me. You have been alienated, and I teach Brechtian theatre. It's all about alienation, and I think you need to come on this course, and you need to find a way of writing your story and telling your story, and you don't need to go into that hall and sign on. And he just took me under his wing. Fantastic. And Ben Elton was there. He was the year above me. Really? There were all sorts, because it was the first theatre and education college in the country. Okay. There were all sorts of people coming from rich families, but because I was a local girl, I didn't have to pay anything. It just went straight in, and it was my introduction to socialism. And in that first term there, with other students, we joined Amnesty International and we put on our first event. What? And I sung at it, but not knowing I could sing. It was just one of those things to sort of raise money. Yeah. And so I've been a member of Amnesty since I was 17, and I'm now 66. Yeah. I wanted to find out about other, people who'd lost a family member to prison.
Yeah, of course.
And it changed my whole direction. And I can remember the reason why I ended up by going to drama school, which is what I did after that. I went to Central School of Speech and Drama. Wow. The reason I went there, I got into Central and I got into Loughborough College of Art to do ceramics, because I carried on doing ceramics. And at this point, my dad had been moved to an open prison in a place called Oakham. And it was a hell of a job getting there, because nobody had a car in our family. So it was like a bus, a train, a bus, a train, and then the prison bus. Yeah. And I got there, and in open prisons, it's like you see it on television, the way it's portrayed. It's like being in a canteen. Yeah. Each little family has a little table and some chairs. Sure. And I'd come to ask Dad, what should I be? Should I go and become a ceramicist, or should I go to drama college? Anyway, I sat there. I hadn't yet asked him, and we had the hugs and all of that. And he got out. There was a plastic bag under the table, and he got out of it and put on the table what looked like a drawstring leather bag. Okay. It was made of stoneware clay that he was making in prison.
Oh, stop that!
Stoneware clay is the hardest to work with, and I remember looking at that and thinking, "Oh, okay, drama school."
There we go.
He was a very competitive man, right? But he was that good. Yeah. With very little. Yeah. And so off to drama school I went, and it was when I went to drama school. I mean, I actually hated drama school, because at that point I really still had this chip on my shoulder. I thought everybody was the son or daughter of somebody rich and famous, and a lot of them were. Yeah. A lot of them were sons and daughters of famous actors. But my year was an experimental year. We were all shapes, sizes, and lots of different accents, which was an experiment for Central, which usually, like RADA, was just aiming straight for the RSC and the National, and it was petite blonde girls usually, and very good-looking boys, a particular type. Yeah. Our year was an experiment. Kristen Scott Thomas was in my year.
Oh, hello.
And we've remained friends, because neither of us fitted in for different reasons.
I love her.
And so French and Saunders were in the year above me, as was Rupert Everett. Yeah. And French and I can't remember whose idea it was, but somebody's idea amongst us to put on this in-house cabaret. And French and Saunders did their first ever circus act together, because this is, you know, which was very, very funny.
I bet.
Rupert Everett was a ventriloquist's dummy.
I could see that.
Julian Sands was the sort of presenter, and I remember thinking, God, this is really out there, because he was throwing a kitten at people.
Okay.
Not a very good thing to do, really.
No.
But anyway, he was a friend. In fact, he was an old boyfriend.
Yeah.
But and since unfortunately died.
Sure.
Literally, the day I heard about his death was as I was lying in bed, having had my new knee. So that's when the phone call came from America that he'd gone missing. But anyway, and I sung. It's obvious now why I sung that, but at the time everybody was questioning why I chose to sing prison songs.
Because
And it's because, of course, Dad was in prison.
Of course.
And I discovered Bessie Smith and the likes and the blues.
Yeah.
So I was doing all these blues. And I think that was my first really time where I realised I'd got quite an interesting voice.
Yeah.
But it was this in-house cabaret. Then Julian Sands and a friend of mine from the Stratford College, they became friends, and they took over a place in West End Lane. And it was sort of just a basement, and they turned it into a club, a cabaret club. So I was booked. That was my first proper booking in their club. And a lot of people that were going through drama school, they would put on there. And so that was really the beginning. And I also teamed up with a fellow singer, and a fellow actress. She was playing the piano, and she's remained a good friend of mine. She's an actress. She lives in Rome. But she was playing the piano because she'd grown up knowing how to play piano, and we became this double act, and we sang in this place called Princess Louise, which is on Holborn.
Okay.
And it was above a pub, and we were doing all the old Billie Holiday songs, all sorts. We were doing absolutely all sorts, and we started to be booked every week, and it was because I'd got an unusual voice and two, a redhead and a blonde, doing this act. And it wasn't until about 6 months into that, because I was singing other people's songs, I found myself thinking, hold on, this song that I'm singing of Billie Holiday's is saying that it's okay for my man to hit me.
Yeah.
And I started to question the lyrics.
They're quite conflicting, aren't they?
Yeah, and it took me that long to think, no, I don't think I can sing that anymore. And I started to look for material. Yeah. And I was not a songwriter at this point. It took me to being 50 before I wrote songs that I was remotely proud of.
Yeah.
Because I spent years covering people's songs, but I looked for interesting songs to cover. One that had a story to tell, and one that I could relate to, and I felt I could change.
And then you can embody it, can't you? You really feel like you can sing it from a very different
good
place.
Song, if it's a good song, anybody can make it their own.
Exactly.
And you don't have to be a great singer.
No.
You just have to mean it and it
it
means something to you.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I got very good at choosing songs to cover. And
because you like Tom Waits, don't you?
I love
your
Tom
voice
Waits.
is...
I hoped one day that he would write songs for me. I wanted to meet a modern day Bertolt Brecht and Tom Waits. That would have done it for me.
Yeah.
And Nick Cave.
Yeah.
It didn't happen. But I did get to work with nearly all of Tom Waits' band.
Brilliant.
During my career. Wow. I did 2 albums along the way with Mark Ribot, who is Tom Waits' guitarist. Okay. And really, Mark Ribot is responsible for a hell of a lot of the sounds and the oddness.
Uniqueness of Tom Waits.
Of Tom Waits' sound.
Absolutely.
And so we did 2 albums where it was just voice and guitar, live first take. And I learned a lot of lessons from him because he's a little bit older than me. We're doing these songs live first take. I am hearing them back and saying, yeah, I sung a bum note there, or I'm not sure, it's a great key for me. And he just turned around and said, that's what we did.
Exactly.
And bump notes, if you listen back, he said, if you listen back to those songs in the 70s that were recorded live, you could tear them to pieces because there are many bum notes and bad timing, whatever. But we've fallen in love with that. It's what happened.
But it feels, I overused this word maybe, but it really does feel it. The authenticity
Yes.
of live music
Yeah.
in the 70s particularly was everything warts and all, wasn't it?
Yeah, warts and
it
all.
really was beautiful. And when they try and take it into a studio and they correct it, it's like, no, it's not the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound as.
But it took me
it's raw.
till him telling me that to understand it.
Accept it.
And now I'm not fussy. I'm not, you know, it's very often, you know, in the studio with my band, because I like to record live with them, very, very often it is the first take when you go back to it.
Yeah.
That's the magical one.
It's got all your energy in it, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the first one out of the pipe.
Yeah.
Nice.
So Mark Rebo did me a huge favour, and I had several of Tom Waite's band playing on different tracks along the years. The wonderful Ralph Carney, who unfortunately died about, I don't know how many years ago. He fell down the stairs and died. But he was a phenomenal sax player, and he played on many of Tom's albums. So he's played on quite a few of my tracks. And yeah, I've been very, very fortunate with the people that I've played with along the way. And often they're guitarists.
But that's the treat, isn't it?
Yeah.
You get I can't imagine what that. I'd be all fangirl all over it. So how you would I've
they've
got
all
lots
got
of words now.
Well, they've all got every one of these brilliant guitarists I've worked with have all got a very different style. They've all got their own sound, and so you can't really say you prefer one to the other.
No.
In the end, the person that I've played with the most is the person that I now write with, and that I do most of my concerts with, Tony Remy.
So you're bringing us right up to the present day.
Present day, because he's played with everyone along the way, but he's so got his own sound, and he's only a few years younger than me, so his musical background has been very similar to mine.
Sure.
So we both speak the same language. We've both been in funk bands and soul bands and rock bands. We've both played folk. We've played South African township music. You know, we've played in Latin bands. We've both done pop. You know, he was in Annie Lennox's band for years.
Because I'm going to come over now. I'm going to build the bridge now, because this is the thing about so you're famous for something I'm not sure that many people in this town know.
Me for?
Yeah. So just give us a brief bit about what you... Yeah. So
okay.
we're going back to the 80s.
We're going back to the 80s.
Yeah.
So I'm in this fantastic political big band called The Happy End. 25 of us. We're doing political music from all around the world, men and women. And we team up. It's the time of the miners' strike.
Yeah.
And we team up with Kay Sutcliffe, who's a Kent miner's wife, who's written these lyrics. And we do the music and record Coal Not Dole, which becomes the anthem of the miners' strike. So we're doing benefits all around the country.
Yeah.
At the same time, Jimmy Somerville is in Bronski Beat.
Yeah.
They've had huge success. He's been a very important part of not just popular music history, but gay history.
Absolutely.
You know, he changes things. He's out, proud, political, and he's writing songs about what it is to be a gay man and how dangerous it is out there.
Yeah. Massive conviction.
Massive conviction.
Yeah.
And he got involved in the miners' strike too, and he was very much out there doing big concerts. I was doing these small places around the country. I'd been one of my brothers had gone to the same local college to study drama as me 4 years later.
Okay.
He was there with Richard Coles.
Reverend Richard
Coles, who came in at the end of Bronski Beat to play clarinet, and he and Jimmy had met and became friends. They then decided to leave Bronski Beat and to set up the Commune Arts. So they got themselves a deal.
Yeah.
At this point, they'd just got their first single out called You're My World. They hadn't recorded an album. A song that I'd had out back earlier than The Happy End in the Republic, which was it was a 10-piece African Caribbean Latin band, very political. Our first single being Anti the Malvinas War.
Okay.
Second one called The Royal Family.
Okay.
We are being banned right, left, and centre, because this is Thatcher's Britain, and you don't do that.
No.
Capital Radio was playing us, but everyone else wasn't touching us. But we were the cover of the NME. We were the cover of City Limits.
Yeah.
There was a documentary made about us.
Brilliant.
We were the band that was supposed to happen, but we were too political.
Sure.
Okay. One of our singles became very big in the gay clubs. My Spies. I'm singing in a mock operatic voice to a Middle Eastern dance beat. Jimmy buys this, loves this. Richard says, I know her, and brings him along to a miners' benefit where I'm singing.
Wow.
I know him because I've seen him on telly.
Of course.
In Bronski Beat. And of course I know Richard.
Yeah.
And we get on like a house on fire. We find it very amusing that he's the petite redhead with an incredibly high falsetto voice.
Exactly.
And I'm the very tall redhead with a very low baritone voice. We just really hit it off.
Yeah.
So we kind of parted company. He gave me his phone number because this is before mobiles.
Of course.
Home phone number.
Yeah.
And he was living at the time I think he was living with Richard and their manager Lorna up in West Hampstead. And he said, we've been asked to do a Gaze the Word bookshop benefit at the Fridge in Brixton in a short while's time. Fancy doing it. So we decided to do that. But they went off to promote You're My World, and I realised we were getting close to the time when this concert was coming up, and we hadn't even talked and decided what to do. And I was a bit nervous about that.
Yeah.
So I rang Jimmy, and I got hold of him eventually, and I said, I think it would be really interesting if we duet Billie Holiday's Lover Man, so we're both singing about the same guy. So Richard learns it. We go on at this big, the Fridge hasn't long been opened, although I did play with The Happy End to open the Fridge. We played the opening concert.
Cool.
It's just across the road to where I live, in this hard-to-let housing association flat.
Yep.
Central Brixton, just around the corner from the Ritzy. We're up on stage. We are camping it up, singing about this guy doing this Billie Holiday song. London Records are in the audience. They see how the audience is going crazy because we are very good together.
Of course.
We know we're not aware of this. They both know they're going to America to record an album. I've never been abroad, I'm not imagining this is
No, but they're watching the crowd.
They're watching that, and suddenly I'm asked if I'd like to go to America to record the album with them.
Wow.
And this is how out of touch I am, because I'd never really made money from music. I cleaned people's houses and I waitressed in the daytime so I could sing in wine bars or wherever it was, pubs in the evening. But you were never getting more than 50 quid. And so I presumed by them asking me that I had to pay for my flight.
Oh, bless you.
So I was busy cleaning people's houses to save up to pay for my flight. Then finding out, of course, it was all laid on. And
How lovely.
so that was pretty amazing.
That naivety.
That naivety.
Wow.
And of course, everything changed.
Yeah.
We had to the first thing we did when we came back from America was we did the Red Wedge tour. Because I was already a member of Artists Against Apartheid. Because my boyfriend at the time was a guy called Dali Tambo, whose father was the head of the ANC.
Oh, wow.
While Nelson Mandela was in prison. And he and Jerry Dammers had set up this. And I used to go out, it was to start with, it was with The Happy End. And then obviously once I got involved with Artists Against Apartheid, with a megaphone, and I'd sing outside of South Africa House every Friday.
Do you know what?
Were you there?
I'm going to tell you something now. Let's share with our reader, our viewer. I would have been on the demonstration as a police officer. Don't
How
hate
did you
me.
feel? No, not at all, because you're not that kind of
No,
police
I'm
officer.
not that sort. Like, no, but I would have been, because when yes, I was there all the way through that time, outside South Africa House. There it was, and you would have been. Yes, you and I have crossed paths in the 80s.
Of course.
Isn't that hilarious?
Oh,
Yeah, I hated the police, but I loved the public, so it was I had a lucky escape, thank God. But I used to really feel for the people on the other side.
You were one of the goodies.
I was like, oh, I can't do this. It feels terrible, because they've got their whole heart.
Yeah,
in their
absolutely.
cause. You could feel it. You could feel it in the crowd.
Yeah.
And oh wow.
So that was an important part of my political journey
Absolutely.
too. And what was really interesting was the Republic, which was the first kind of English band that I joined. I joined because I was very good friends with a guy called John Matshikiza, who was a black South African actor and journalist. And he was with the RSC. And so when I was living in Stratford-on-Avon at that college, and also then at drama school in London, we remained friends. And he'd been asked to write lyrics for this band and to sing. And he knew he was going back to the RSC. So he asked me if I would do it with him, but then he would leave and I would take over.
Wow.
Now, he wrote fantastic lyrics and remained a friend until he died. But his father wrote King Kong the Musical, which is what brought Miriam Makeba, Hugh Masekela to London for the first time.
Okay.
So a lot of my journey is linked in all sorts of extraordinary ways.
Is there?
And when I was living in Brixton, around the corner, I became very good friends with a guy called Mervyn Africa, who used to play with Dollar Brand and Miriam Makeba. And he was a black South African musician in Brixton, and he was a safe house. So he taught me to be a safe house for my flat. Because I had a piano. Somebody, my ex-boyfriend had let me keep this upright piano he'd bought me for a birthday present. So black South African musicians that were arriving in exile in London, they came to Mervyn or they came to me. And once again, that really involved me. And at that same period, we got to know about Red Wedge and the fact that the Labour Party were wanting to get, pop musicians involved and trying to get the youth vote.
Yeah.
And so Billy Bragg, Junior Giscoigne, Paul Weller, Star Council days.
Yeah.
They were the main ones. Lorna G, Brixton Girl, Rhoda Dacker from the Specials, and the Body Snatchers.
Wow.
Yeah. And we did that tour.
Yeah.
And we had come back from America. Everybody knew who Jimmy was, but they didn't necessarily know who Richard and I were. And everything was to a backing tape, except Richard playing piano and the two of us singing.
Yeah.
So, we had Style Council playing for nearly every artist, and we'd all join in at the very end. But the song that got the audience going was our duet of Don't Leave Me This Way. And I think then it became obvious to the record company that should be the single.
Absolutely.
And that went to number one for 6 weeks.
It did.
And changed everything.
It did. This is so funny. There's a theme, because we can't wrap this all up in this one. There have to be more, because it sounds, every time you say, and it changed everything, I think we're going to have to call it, and it changed everything. Because this is it, isn't it? It's beautiful. I hate to say this, but we have
Run out of time.
This is criminal. I'm so sorry, dear reader, dear viewer. But what we'll do is we'll carry on. So we'll carry on at another time. So
we'll pick up at the communards.
We will pick up. So the sisterhood then.
Yeah.
Let's do 5 minutes on the sisterhood.
5 minutes on the sisterhood.
And then we'll expand that later next time. Let's do
so the sisterhood began here in this room. We don't have a television. Mark and I read to each other. And I said to him that I really wanted to find out about the female singer-songwriters that I felt had paved the way for me to be. And I made a list of about 50, but knew we couldn't write about 50. And when I realised it could be an album, I knew I had to reduce it down to 10. So when it got to that point, I thought, right, it's the passing of the torch from a generation to a generation.
Yeah.
So there are lots of people that should be there that aren't. But because, for instance, say because I had Joni Mitchell, I couldn't have Carole King and I couldn't have Carly Simon or whatever.
Of course, no.
So the 10 I started out with were Bessie Smith passing the torch to Billie Holiday, to Nina Simone, to Miriam Makeba, to Aretha Franklin, to Janis Joplin, to Joni Mitchell, to Ricky Lee Jones, to Annie Lennox, to Kate Bush. Kate Bush is 1 year older than me. She passes the torch to me in my head.
Does. Beautiful.
So we really researched respectfully their life stories, wrote them, and then Tony Remy, my right-hand man, who was Annie Lennox's guitarist for many years, he came down. We wrote the music in the genre of the artist we'd written about.
I love that.
Totally funded it by making, you name it. I tried to make it on a sewing machine, upcycling furniture Mark and I did. We did songwriting weekends here. He did portrait weekends here. I did masterclasses. And I found a way of funding the album, including going to South Africa and including staying with Dali Tambo, having not seen him since we split up in 1986.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So that was very interesting. That's all part of the story.
Yeah.
I put that album out on International Women's Day at the Alexandra Palace Theatre. Wonderful people from around here were prepared to get on a coach that I booked here and come up.
Yeah.
Everybody was somehow part of it. Sure. And every concert I have done in the last 5 years has funded part of it.
Yeah.
Some of it's been crowdfunded, but a lot of it is me doing concerts to raise money.
Sure.
Writing about 10 was not enough. So I've been writing about another 10.
Nice.
And in fact, Mark and I finished writing the Etta James story yesterday. Now, Etta James's story is just phenomenal.
Okay.
And she played and knew everyone, all of those people that influenced me, from Sly and the Family Stone to Otis Redding to Sam Cooke. That was part of her life.
Very connected woman.
Very connected. And she did what Janis Joplin did, and which is what I'm doing in this project. She talked about her influences.
Yes.
Not enough people do this.
No.
Not enough people name check where they've got their inspiration from.
You need to credit these people, don't you?
Absolutely. You are taking a tiny little bit of what they do and you turn it into your own thing.
Absolutely.
And that's so what I've done is I've been doing concerts all year. I said yes to absolutely every concert that was offered to me. And it pays for our living, but I've put enough money aside to go into the studio in Pevensey Bay. Nia will be the first band that plays in this new studio. We'll record live, and we're starting on the 1st of October. So I think I've earned enough money to pay for the recording, the musicians, and possibly the mixing. So now I'm starting to organise a big masterclass at the Crown House on the 28th of February, where people come from all over and I teach them 3-part backing vocals of 5 of these new songs that they will come on the 8th of March, International Women's Day, when this new Volume 2 gets released at 229 Great Portland Street in London. It's a Sunday. They will get up on stage and sing those with me. That will raise some of the money to pay towards possibly the mastering, possibly the videos. I'm also just set up a GoFundMe.
Do you have to be a professional to do that?
Not at all. A lot of the people that came and took part hadn't sung before, and the first time we did it was just after that second lockdown. It was so emotional. People hadn't been close to each other. There were tears because it's all these voices together.
Yeah.
And Mike Willis helps me with this. We do it. Mark and I do all the cooking, and it's a lovely day. You start at 10 in the morning. Mark brings down the homemade soup and the homemade bread at lunchtime. Then we have homemade cake in the afternoon. Then we do a sit-down meal in the evening. Then we do a concert, myself, Tony and Mike, singing some of the songs that everybody can join in on. Then there's dancing. So it's a lovely, lovely day.
Sounds terrible. I don't know why anybody will come.
And
It sounds delightful.
Well, the last one I did, 40 people came from all over Europe, and they got up on stage at the Alexandra Palace Theatre. and it was amazing.
I bet it was. Are you in a position to tell us what the cost would be for somebody to join?
Yes, so it's not cheap.
No.
Because it's about raising money.
Of course.
But when you think you're getting all your meals, you're getting entertainment in the evening, you're getting the disco, and you're getting tuition from 10 in the morning till, well, the evening finishes at 10. So it's 10 to 10. So it's £200 all in.
What a steal. What a steal.
Well, there's going to be a lot of people that can't afford that, and I understand that. And what I try to do is get enough people so that I'm able to help a couple of people have a free place.
I like doing that. Yeah.
And that's how it works.
Yeah. Wow.
But it's a lovely thing to do. I will do another. What I did earlier this year is I did a masterclass to 15, and they came. They had to buy their own flight and their own hotel room, but they came and sung on stage in Rome at the auditorium, and it's a huge venue. It's Ennio Morricone's auditorium, and that was fantastic too. And I've booked the auditorium in Rome for the 23rd of April next year. So if people wanted to come along to the next masterclass, which will be early April, and have the money to go to Rome and pay their own cheap flight and cheap hotel room, then they can sing in Rome. I'm also doing there's another opportunity on either the 25th or the 26th of October. There's one song that I've written about we've written, beg your pardon, about Peggy Seeger. who I've got a long history with Peggy Seeger, but Peggy Seeger is 90 years old, and Peggy Seeger wrote a very early feminist song called "Gonna Be an Engineer." She wrote the Greenham Commons song. I did a weekend at Greenham. I didn't live there like she did.
No.
She's incredibly important. So her song we've written is a feminist song. It's called "Half of Us, a Longing to Be Free." And what I'm offering is this one day where people come to the studio and we're all recording in the round that chorus, and my brother Rod, the filmmaker, will be filming it, so it will be part of the video when it's made. And I'm asking for £100 for each person to come and be part of that recording, because once again it's trying to raise money to complete the project, because it's a totally it's a passion project.
It is.
I am the record company.
Yeah.
I am the agent. I'm the promoter. I'm the co-writer. I am the co-producer. So I'm not rich, but I am rich in creativity.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you have to ask for help.
Of course.
But I cannot ask people to put money in unless I'm giving them something.
Of course.
So this is what I've come up with as ways.
It's a great idea.
I
think it's phenomenal.
So if anybody that's watching this would be interested in that too, contact me. You might be. We need a few more redheads around that microphone, darling.
More ginger minges, that's what we need.
We do.
Darling. Absolutely. Sweetheart, this has been just a beautiful... This has been a phase one of these. There will be more, because there's loads.
There's lots of stories.
There's lots of stories, and I just thank you so much from the deep well that is the bottom of my heart for sharing this first part with us today. I've loved it. I knew it was going to be fun, but I didn't realise quite how much. But
I think that we were linked by...
I know. Oh, there's loads. Angie,
yes.
You and your megaphone.
Yeah.
Definitely, there'll be more. You wait. You bet your life.
I bet you look good in uniform.
Bet your bippy. I did actually.
Yes.
I used to have my uniform tailored. I used to take it away and just...
Yes, you want to look the best you can.
Yes, and I used to take it to this Wardour Street tailor, and I'd say, "Can you fit this?" He went, "Of course, you look amazing," and I did. Yes. I didn't care.
Did you wear DMs?
I did.
Yeah. They're good walking shoes.
They are. They make you look ridiculous, but it was what you did. Yeah.
But unfortunately, the police force isn't like we were brought up with Dixon of Dock Green.
No.
It's not like that, is it?
I romanticised it.
Yeah,
I did
sure.
sentimentalise it, and it was my learning actually. But I learnt a lot, and I don't regret it.
Yeah.
I just take everything and move that on to another skill.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's resilience. I tell you what, if you can't be resilient against that,
Yeah.
taught me loads about being able to stand up for myself as well.
And you do.
And I do. And you do.
Yes.
You're extraordinary. I think we need to hug this out and say thank you to everybody for watching. Oh, God, our town has so much plenty, doesn't it? Bless you.
It does.
So we're going to cheers each other. Grab your cup, darling. Let's cheers each other. So our town has plenty.
To the sisterhood.
To the sisterhood. Let me get my little doodah. There we are. To the sisterhood.
To the sisterhood.
Absolutely.
Would you like to be part of the sisterhood? You can be.
Absolutely. 200 for one or 100 for the other. Let's do it. Woohoo! Our town has plenty.